Hi, my name is Brian Freestead. Welcome to my game dev live stream. If you're watching this right now, that means you're watching on YouTube. So thank you. The game I'm working on is called Vesuvius. It's a 2D side-scrolling puzzle platformer game set in the village of Pompeii on the day of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. It's a puzzle platformer, like I mentioned, and one of the big puzzles of the game is how the day is repeating over and over again, Groundhog style, and you have to go around to these different dungeons and beat the bosses in order to move on from the day. I want to give an update video. I haven't done one in a little while. So let me open up here. So one thing I was working on was a couple of, Sprint 18. I was working on the user interface or some menu stuff. And this is what I came up with. So you can see I've got a logo here for the game, Vesuvius, and then I've got these buttons on here, and you can see there's like a blurred out background image, and it's just kind of scrolling across the screen very slowly. And I can click here. I could go to the settings page, go to the controls page. I can click exit to exit the game. Within the settings menu, I have these things called pop-up windows. So the pop-up comes up, and then I can click the X to close it. And I can click this to start the game. And then it just throws me right into the game. That's cool, right? So that was what I was working on in Sprint 18. And then what I spent most of my time working on in Sprint 19 is a system for creating data for the game. So when I was working on the technical demo, it was really frustrating how I always had to remember which scriptable data to make for what kinds of objects. So when I wanted to make a chest, there was just the one thing. But every time I wanted to make a fire imp, for example, I had to have all this different data. And that was pretty annoying to remember all that. And doors have a couple things, and then buttons have 4 different things. So I came up with this thing called a data generator tool. It's mostly editor scripting, so I added it to the Unity window up here in the top toolbar. Click data generator, and it opens up this thing here, and I can dock this among other things like this or over here. And the first option, I select what kind of thing I want to make: a button, container, character, or door. So let's say I want to do a container, and this is going to be called, let's just call treasure chest 2. Then I'm going to click choose parent folder. I want this to be in the chunk loading demo, so I'm going to select that folder. Then I click generate. And voila, over here there's a new folder called treasure chest 2, and then it has the scriptable object data that's associated with that inside of it. And for objects that have multiple things like the door, let's call this one door 5. Generate that. Oh, that wasn't a good example. I wanted a button. So there's different ones here, and so if I go to button data, view that in the inspector, you see it's already auto-populated the push and release events with the appropriate ones as well, which is handy. I don't have to do that myself. So that's the little tool I made. in addition to making this tool, I also spent part of last sprint designing the, finishing up with the dungeon design and the boss design. So I have that all noted out here in dungeon design. Got some ideas for puzzles, and wrote about the bosses. I came up with the final boss of the game in the fire dungeon, and I have a couple puzzle ideas for each dungeon as well. Some of them were just puzzles that I had previously come up with and then I wrote up. So now I'd like to talk about what I'm going to look at this next sprint. I'm going to work on a couple of things. I'm going to work on the town design and the inventory design. So I've broken the town design into these 5 stories here. And then I've broken the inventory down into these 8 or 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 stories. Doesn't really matter. The way I'm going to do the inventory system is based off of components. So I already have an item data class, which we can see here. Items, item data. It's a simple class. All items have a sprite and a name, and then we can check to see if 2 are equal. I'd like to be able to add components to each of these item data, and the components are kind of like any other component in Unity. You can add them to game objects, or in this case item datas, and they add new characteristics to that thing, and you should be able to put different combinations of them and they all work independently. So there's going to be item components like equipable, description, and cost. So that's what I'm going to work on implementing this week. Okay. Thanks for watching. That's going to be all for my update video tonight. I want to keep it short, maybe be more interesting to watch on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment or like 90% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you're watching this right now and you want to keep up to date with the progress of my game, please just leave a subscribe. Or you can follow on Twitch, get notified whenever I go live. Okay, that's all. Have a nice night.